Welcome to ApiForCrypto. This product consists of two parts: the API documentation for integration, which you can access directly from the website, and the personal account or dashboard. To work with the API documentation and integrate the service, you first need to register an account. Let's go ahead and do that. We create a username, a password, then click on registration. The registration was successful. Now we wait for the code to be sent to our email and enter it. The code has been accepted and the account successfully activated. Now let's log into our dashboard by clicking on Sign In. We have successfully logged in. To get started, we need to either create or import our first wallet. Let's create a wallet by clicking on Create Wallet button. In the right panel, we can choose between creating a private wallet or a wallet for invoices, which is used for generating invoices when using the service. Naturally, we choose second option. Here we see a brief description, and let's name it Test1, so we know this is our first wallet. After clicking on Confirm button, we receive a mnemonic phrase. It is recommended to download and store this phrase securely. You can import this phrase into other wallets, such as Trust Wallet or MetaMask, and manage your funds there. However, we recommend using our built-in wallet. Now that we've entered our wallet, we see that our balance is 0 and there are no assets yet. We can manually add assets by clicking Add Asset button. For example, let's add Bitcoin. We can also add Ethereum. For each asset, we can view the available addresses. Right now we have one address, but we can create additional addresses if needed. The new address has been created successfully. We can access each address separately, check its transaction history, or send funds from a specific address. Alternatively, we can send funds from the entire wallet at once. This makes managing transactions very convenient. To work with the API documentation, we need our wallet ID. We can find it by going to Settings tab. Here we can also see our seed phrase, which we can copy or download in case we didn't do that during registration. Below that, we have the wallet ID, which is essential for further work. Additionally, there is a transfer key, which can be used if we later decide to integrate fund withdrawals from our application. This feature is rarely used, but it's available. We can either download or copy the wallet ID. Let's go ahead and copy it. Now let's move on to the API documentation. Here we have a brief overview of how to use the service, but we only need a couple of methods: Create Invoice and Get Invoice. The other sections in the documentation are meant for more advanced integrations. For example, if you want to integrate a cryptocurrency wallet into your application, manage everything from there, and enable fund withdrawals. There are methods for that as well. Let's try creating an invoice. Here we can see all the parameters required for invoice creation. First, we need the wallet ID, the blockchain, and cryptocurrency or token symbol. We can generate an invoice in either cryptocurrency or fiat currency. If we choose fiat, we can also set a markup percentage. Other parameters include the expiration time, expiry, the required number of confirmations, and a pause before the address becomes available for use. We can set this pause to a year, a day, or any other period, since the system uses a carousel-based invoicing method. At the bottom, there is a playground button that allows us to conveniently test the API documentation. First, we paste in the wallet ID that we obtained earlier. Next, we select a blockchain from the list. Let's go with Ethereum. If we want to create an invoice in cryptocurrency, we choose Ethereum as the currency symbol. By the way, we can also select any token within this network. Now we specify the value, let's say 10 Ethereum. We can also choose the currency in which the invoice amount will be displayed. For the expiration time we set 15 minutes. We require 6 confirmations and won't be adding a pause. Next, we enter the secret key, which is only visible to us in the callback. We then input the user order ID, the title, and the detailed description, which could, for example, describe a product. This data will be passed from your application. Finally, we enter the callback URL, making sure to use HTTPS. Let's write, for example, ApiForCrypto.com. In this field, we can specify how many times the callback should be retired in case it doesn't go through on the first attempt. Let's set it to 10 times. For successful invoice processing, we redirect to /success, for example. And for failed attempt, we redirect to /failed. The last field is user data, where we can enter any additional information we want to include in the invoice, such as a barcode number. Now let's test it by clicking Execute. The invoice has been created. We also have a URL that we can use. Let's copy it and let's check it. That's it. Everything is ready. Okay, we've created an invoice. Now let's check what we can see in our wallet. We go to the Invoices tab and open the Invoices History section to view our issued invoices. Here we can see the invoice we just created. We can also check its status. In our case, it shows unpaid. Of course, the callback will be sent to your application, but at the same time, you can always monitor all issued invoices and their activity directly in your wallet. Additionally, you can view the transaction history. In our case, there is no data yet because no transactions have been made. You can also look up any issued invoice by its UUID. Let's copy UUID from our invoice. Then go to Choose UUID section, enter UUID, and click Get History. Here we have all the essential details, such as the address, order ID, and hash, if a transaction has been made. Since we specified a fiat currency, we can see the invoice amount in fiat, the markup percentage we applied, the exchange rate, as well as the title and description. Of course, this isn't the full information. You can always access the complete details clicking Get Invoice. Next, click Playground, enter our UUID, and click Execute. Let's check the results. Since this method is public, it won't display the callback URL where you received the callback, nor will it include some other sensitive data. Now let's try creating another invoice, but this time in fiat currency instead of cryptocurrency. We go to the Create Invoice tab again. Let's use Bitcoin as the cryptocurrency and set the invoice amount in euros. We want to generate an invoice for 1000 euro and we'll add a 5% markup, meaning the final amount will automatically be 5% higher. We'll keep all other details the same. For the order ID, instead of 123, let's use 456, for example. The secret key remains the same. Now let's try creating the invoice. Oops, currency is not active. That means we selected the wrong blockchain. We also need to choose Bitcoin as the blockchain. Click again. Now the invoice has been successfully created. We can follow the provided link to check the details. Our invoice has been successfully created in Bitcoin. Since we initially set the amount to 1000 euro and added a 5% markup, the final invoice amount is 1050 euro. Here we can see the equivalent amount in Bitcoin, which can be paid using the QR code or by copying the Bitcoin wallet address and sending the payment manually. Once the client has made the payment, they can click I paid to confirm the transaction. Alternatively, the client can choose to cancel the invoice by clicking Cancel Invoice, which will immediately void it. In our case, we ended up on a non-existent page because I entered an invalid address. Let's check our wallet again. In the Invoices History section, we see another unpaid invoice. Here we also have the option to download the report. For example, if you have 1000 invoices, you can download them and easily manage the data in any program of your choice. Additionally, you can access various settings, such as creating a new wallet, importing an existing wallet, and in the Settings tab, you can also add credits. As you can see, credits have not been deducted because they are only charged for paid invoices. Now let's go back to the Wallet tab. Here we have two addresses, and we can choose to hide one of them. For example, if we click Hide Address, that address disappears. When we return to the wallet, we now see only one address. This feature is especially useful if you have thousands of addresses. It helps keep things organized. If you ever need to view hidden addresses, simply click Show Hidden and then click Unfreeze the address to unhide them. That's it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to technical support. We're always happy to help.